This is Scott Becker with the Becker Private Equity Business Podcast, and these are 12 of the stories that we're following today. It's April 8th, 2024, and also it's the day that we kick off the Becker's Healthcare annual meeting, a 4-day meeting with President Bush speaking, Bill Belichick speaking, Michael Strand speaking, Martha Stewart, and literally 500 to 600 health system executives and thousands of people with us in Chicago. So thrilled to be here in Chicago, recording and visiting. But here are the 12 stories we're following today. First, the markets rallied tremendously Friday and look to open relatively flat today. They're fairly flat today. It's about 10 o'clock Central now, 11 o'clock Central now, fairly flat so far. Second, the NASDAQ is up about 10%, a little more than 10% year to date. Some of the NASDAQ stocks really being high flyers. The S&P 500 is up also a little bit less than 10% year to date, but both having really good years so far. Third, some of the things that we follow, some of the fun vices, Bitcoin and oil and cannabis, all up significantly this year. Cannabis for the first time in a long time. Oil again back to $90 a barrel, and Bitcoin rocking and rolling again after going way down the last couple of years, way up again this year. Fourth, in the aviation world, Boeing's down 30% year to date, having trouble meeting perfection on the safety side. What a challenging job they have. Spirit Airlines also down about 72% today. I saw that they're weighing off some of their pilots, certainly a disaster there. Ultimately, the FTC and the DOJ, by blocking the JetBlue Spirit Airlines merger, may have ultimately really put Spirit in a horrendous situation. Fifth, as I mentioned a moment ago, the Becker's Healthcare annual meeting kicks off today in Chicago. Incredible what Jessica Cole and team have accomplished and built at Becker's Healthcare, so God bless. Sixth, Microsoft has become the largest market cap company in the United States. That's followed by Apple and NVIDIA. NVIDIA has been the one that's been on the most tier this year, but Microsoft has also been up to supplant Apple. Apple's been down this year about 10% year to date. Seventh, the largest company by revenues in the U.S. remains Walmart, though Amazon seems to be getting closer and closer to catching up to them. Those are the number 1 and 2 companies by revenues in the U.S. Berkshire Hathaway, Apple, and United Health Group are 3, 4, and 5. Eighth, Behrens says that these stocks are the ones that are most on the move today. Tesla, which is up today, United Airlines and Boeing, which are facing all kinds of different problems, JP Morgan Chase, and then MicroStrategy, which is really rocking and rolling. Tesla is always amongst the most actively traded. Ninth, the richest billionaire in the world, according to Forbes, is Bernard Arnault, the founder, chairman, leader of LV, Louis Vuitton, et cetera, Moet Hennessy. It continues to rock and roll. I think he's worth almost $250 billion to $300 billion, which seems like an incredible amount of money. Number 2 is Jeff Bezos, then Mark Zuckerberg, then Elon Musk, and Larry Ellison. 10th, the Becker Private Equity and Business Podcast. Thanks both to our listeners and to the work of Jeremy Corr, Chanel Bunger, Grace Keller, and more. Had an absolute record month of downloads in March, so God bless that. That's number 10. 11th, U.S. inflation data comes out this week, and that is likely to lead to a very busy week in the markets. The concern, of course, being that it doesn't show inflation starting to move in the right direction, and that's very possible with oil being up and other things being up, that inflation doesn't move in the right direction, and that's going to lead more concern that the Fed might not be able to lower rates as much as people had initially expected this year. And then we'll see how that ties into the money supply and how it ties into sort of debt pricing and everything else. The last note I'll make today is congratulations to Andy Staffman being named to the board of Twilio. I've known the Staffmans for a very long time. Andy's a brilliant investor. He was valedictorian of his high school class, just as always, a brilliant person. Recently named to the board of directors of Twilio. Congratulations to Andy Staffman, as well as the brilliant parents, Dave and Ellen. Congratulations. Thank you for listening to the Becker Private Equity Business Podcast. Those are 12 of the stories that we're listening to today. Thank you very much.